Hi guys. So I promised that I was going to give you guys a little gist about why I'm so scared of driving. So when I was a kid, like 11, 12, my dad had parked his car in front of our house. And I have two younger siblings, my younger sister and my younger brother. I took these two children and put in the back of the car. So my dad parked the car. Somehow, I don't know how he didn't lock one of the doors, or I think he always locks like 3 doors and leaves one open. I really don't know. I don't know what was like the actual situation, but I got my two siblings, succeeded to open the car in my parents' absence, put my siblings in the back, and then I sat in the front on the driver's seat, and I was touching everything, pressing pressable with my legs, pressing buttons, touching, moving the steering. And that's the car that my dad drives like almost on a daily basis. And so I got there inside, my siblings were behind me, were like, yeah, what they're my passengers, and I was the driver, and I drove the car in my own 10-12-year-old mind. Drove it, pressed the accelerator, whatever, touched things that I wasn't supposed to touch. And then something just said, get out of that car. Or something just came to my mind that made me feel like if my dad caught us in that car, he would not like it. So something said, leave. And then I opened the door of the driver's seat, I left. I came out, I went to the back seat, opened the door, removed my younger sister and my younger brother, who was just about 2 years old. Removed him. No, he was not 2 years old. I don't think he was 2 years old. Well, I don't know exactly how old he was, or I don't know exactly how old I was at the time, but we were all children, right? And my two younger ones were less than 10, but maybe I was at least 10 already. And so something said, just go out and get out. So I got out, like I said, went to the back, removed them, and we walked a little bit from where the car was parked to the veranda. And then immediately we slammed the door, turned our heads, and got to the veranda. Guys, I was saying, immediately we left, went to the veranda, the car started to move backwards. It started to go backwards on its own. And then I turned, I saw it, I started screaming, shouting. Good thing there's nobody in the car. My siblings and I already gotten out of the car. I started screamed until my dad was not. I don't know if there was any elderly person at home, but my dad was not. My mom had gone to the meeting. I don't know if my sister was around and I just was somewhere in the corner or so, but I know that of course we were properly taken care of and there was someone to watch us, but to be honest, my dad had stepped out and my mom had gone to the meeting. And so somebody called my mom while she was in the meeting and said, this was what's going on. And my mom did not understand exactly what had happened. She probably heard that all her 3 children were in the car, in her husband's car, and it was going backwards. And so my mother left her meeting. It was in the neighborhood. And she started crying on the road like a mad woman that her children have died. And coming home, she was crying. All her 3 children. When she got home, that's how I was standing. We were standing in front there, taking my 2 siblings. We were looking at the car. It had gone backwards until, and believe me, there was a hill that if the car had gotten to, it would have tumbled, because there was a hill behind us. It was going in the direction of a hill. It would have turned around a couple of times. For some reason, it went until it went to almost the edge of the hill and it stopped there. It went almost the edge of the hill and it stopped there. It didn't keep going. That's a miracle, one of the miracles I experienced in my childhood. It means I would have destroyed my father's car. And so from that day, I've had a very serious phobia for driving. Let me tell you, when I had grown older, my dad said, I was in uni. My dad said, come for holidays, let me teach you how to drive. He wanted to teach me how to drive, and I told him no. I think I'd even come for one holiday, and he said, let's pick a day, let me pick a day, let's let him check his program and let him teach me how. I refused. I said I don't want to learn. He said, oh, it's okay. At some point he was like, let's go get you a license. And I said, I don't want a license for something I don't know how to do. It was so funny. I refused to get a license. I refused to learn how to drive. Even my dad was offering. I was living with my uncle at the time, one of my uncles, and he would park his car in front. After that, I lived with one of my uncles for a while, like maybe holidays or stuff like that. I actually lived with him for about a year and a half after masters, while I was working. And so one day he always, and that their younger sister at home that they like to send to do things. Oh, can you do this? So he'll be like, Osla, go to the car, the driver's seat, check it front, check on the seat, check this and that. I've kept so and so documents there. Please help me find this document. I would be like, on your driver's seat? He was like, yeah. Like, can you not send someone else? He'd be like, what? What's wrong if I send you? And I'll just be like, okay, no, it's fine. I'll go. And I'll get to open the driver's seat with so much fear. Open it as I would be afraid to touch something. I would be so scared. And this is a trauma that has lived with me for all these years, like being so scared because of what happened when I was less than a teenager. And so yeah, but I think I've grown. I cannot keep holding on to that fear or that incident and not get my driver's license or not drive, because I mean, on a ruler, I need to get my life together. My husband is not going to be my driver all the time, or my parents or somebody. So, and when my dad came, let me tell you, when my dad came, someone moved the car, he brought it, parked it in front of the house again, and every time he would go out, he would remove the battery of the car. If he knew he was going somewhere, I think he was on a trip that time that lasted about 4-5 days. But moving forward, every time he knew that he was not going to be in the house for 1, 2, 3 days, battery out. Even when he packed the battery out, he would constantly disconnecting the battery of his car or disconnecting things from his car, so that in case, I don't know whether it was only battery or something else, but so that in case the car is parked there and I get in, there will be no engagement, or it will not be able to start. You know, the funny thing is, I was not a troublesome child growing up. I was very calm, very, very obedient, but I had a little bit of adventure to my behavior. Like I loved to adventure. I was very adventurous. I know that I'm adventurous. I was very obedient, but I was not stubborn, but very adventurous. I like to try things. And so yeah, but thank God, nothing happened. I didn't get hurt. My younger brother didn't get hurt. My younger sister didn't get hurt. And I learned a bitter lesson. Never pass around my father's car again, ever. If he parks it there, don't even send me there. I don't want problem. My mother, and the good thing is that my dad never whipped us. Never. My dad doesn't put his hand on his kids. And don't you put his hand on his children, you know. Don't let him see it. But my mom, she was very loving, but she did not spare the rod and spoil the child, if you know what I mean. But somehow my mom was the one that can pick a whip. My dad, never. That's not his character. He will never do that. And if you don't whip his child when he's around. So if we do something wrong, my mom will be planning us when my father is not around. The long story short, my dad didn't do anything. Normally that's something that you can do, that they can spank you, but my dad didn't do anything. He just called me and told me that you don't play with the car. That's a machine that can kill people. And my mom was so heartbroken that she looked at me and she didn't even have anything to say, and she couldn't do anything. So, but that's how I developed a phobia for driving, and that's why I don't have my license like until now. But I'm grabbing this license, and hopefully by the time you see this video, well, by the way, I passed my class 7, my Canada class 7, Alberta class 7 driver's license in about a year. Like right now I can drive. I have some driving skills. Right now I can drive with my husband in the car because he has a class 5. But I'm planning to go back to driving school because I don't think my husband is authorized to teach me, even though he could. But I'm planning to register the driving school, get my skills straight, start driving, but of course with my husband in front of the car, because that's the requirement. When you have a learner's license, you need someone who is not a learner to drive with you for 1 year, and then you go take your road test and then you pass. So this year, while I'm waiting for the 1 year to go and take my road test and do it, drive alone, I'm just going to go and register the driving school. I don't know if that's even possible here, but of course I have a class 7, so I can go and register at the driving school and learn properly and then start driving with my husband. My husband is also a very good driver. He's been driving in Sweden for years, so he's good. And I think Sweden has more strict rules than here when it comes to the road driving. So let's see how that goes. I hope I don't have that fear, to be on the road. But I'm bold and I'm very adventurous, so I don't think I'm too old to be scared to drive. Am I not? But thanks for listening and bye. Can you see my nose? it's the snow. So I just wanted to finish up the story that I was telling you guys. Just before I moved to Sweden I moved to Sweden in 2020. Towards the end of the year, I had gone to a driving school back in Cameroon, in Kumba, where I was working, and you tried to register, and my husband had discouraged me, saying, you don't need that license, come to Sweden, you get a Swedish license. You're living in Cameroon, why do you need a Cameroon license? I was supposed to do a proper driver's training, and I ended up not doing it, and I regret, by the way, because I needed it. He wanted me to do the one in Sweden because at the time we were foreseeing that we would be in Sweden long term. So he was like, let's do it in Sweden. Let me come to Sweden and let's do it. But when I went to Sweden, I actually didn't do it. I don't have a Swedish driver's license. My husband has, but I don't have. So that's how I ended up in this place at this old age without a license. It was expensive, but it was not just the cost. When I went to Sweden, I figured out I didn't want to live in Sweden for years or for the rest of my life. I don't feel like, well, that's a story for another day. But bref, that's how I ended up here. But now I have a license and I'm on the way to being able to drive myself around and do my stuff. So bye. It's minus 22 degrees today in Edmonton, by the way. It's January 2nd and it's minus 22 degrees, and I'm going to the library. I have to prepare for something, so I'm going to the library. Bye guys, love you and have a beautiful day.